we're back again. Joe and I actually have another masterclass on the topic of gamification. So gamification, it's such a fun topic, and it really is using game design elements and principles in non-gaming contexts like training. And there's so much more to it, so many more benefits other than being super fun, really engaging. Joe, what does gamification mean to you?
So let's talk about what gamification is and isn't real quick. So I think when you look at gamification from the point of view from someone who's not in like the learning and development scope, a lot of people look at it as, I'm going to take a question within my course and turn it into like a Jeopardy format or something like that. And while that's part of it, it's not everything. So gamification to me is using things like achievements and leaderboards and progress bars and really using that to drive engagement.
Awesome. Speaking of achievements, Joe has made some really great ones. They pop up in people's accounts, and he has one called a goaler, and it's a picture of a goalie with no teeth. It's my favorite one. Joe, how does gamification play into your training?
Yeah, so you have to look at our audience for training, and most of our employees are lifelong athletes, and naturally they're competitive, and you can leverage competitiveness into your training. Within EdApp, as you answer questions correctly, you earn stars, and you can trade in those stars to win different prizes. So what I've done is I've gone to our vendors and I've asked for different prizes and different giveaways, and we use that within EdApp, and people complete courses and try to win prizes, and our employees love trying to win those prizes. It's
Awesome.
been really successful.
That's great. Yeah. And how does gamification help you achieve your training objectives?
Sure. So I guess it depends on what the training objective we're talking about is. So let's use sales as an example. So take a look at like an underperforming product. One thing that we've done with some success is take a underperforming product. I'll ask a vendor for some of those products to give away to our employees as a prize, and I'll create a course, just a product knowledge course. It kind of puts those, like the PK in the employee's mind, gets it on the forefront, and then they all compete to try to win the prize. And the best part about that is that you actually have real world tangible metrics for people to look at. So your stakeholders are going to love kind of like seeing like those numbers go up, and you can correlate them to training, which is good for your budget.
Absolutely. And do you have any advice for us trainers out here on building a gamified training program?
Absolutely. So gamification, well, there's two things that come to mind. So I'd say the first thing that comes to mind is that you need a variety of different slides. So you don't want everything to be interactive, and you also don't want everything to be a content slide. So you want a mix of both. You don't want anything too much on one end. The other thing I would say is this. So gamification is great, but it's a tool to get your learning objectives across. It's not the purpose of the actual training. So not everything needs to be gamified, and not everything needs to have a prize. Use that to drive engagement, to drive retention, but don't make that the point of your training.
Yeah. So you're saying we can't just have 10 Jeopardy slides in a row?
Correct. I would probably avoid that.
Understood.
Yeah.
And have you received any feedback from your team on the content? What do they think?
Yeah, so it's been really well received. So again, we're in a busy retail environment, so everyone loves having more time because none of us have enough of it to begin with. Yeah. It's a real time saver. So they love micro-learning. I've improved condensing because I'm, I guess, naturally long-winded. And really, it's fun and competitive. And when people like doing their training, they're going to retain more information. They're going to like doing it. And getting engagement is not going to be like pulling teeth.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And Joe, you're selling awesome hockey gear. A lot of us are building training, for construction sites, warehouses. Can you see this type of gamified training program being applied regardless of environment? Would it be effective?
Yeah, I can. So we have a distribution center as well, and I've done a lot of different compliance training and safety training, and all of those can be gamified. You can use gamification as a tool regardless of the environment. People don't have to hate their compliance training. You can throw some things in there that are actually like fun. And I think, again, going back to what we said before, it helps you just not check a box. It actually gets people to remember what they learned, and that's the point, right?
That's definitely the point.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, everybody, for listening. And thank you, Joe, for joining and telling us about that amazing integration you set up, about this gamified training program. You've really set up an incredible program for your employees. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody.